I'm the Reamer, a lonely fat man in a black rubber catsuit with a background in prison pen pals. I tell stories, and this one's about a fella named Jimmy Hill. Ah, Jimmy Hill. Yeah, I remember him, or rather my pen pal Silas remembered him and told me all about him. A scrawny little fella, always looking like a scared rabbit even before he ended up in the belly of the beast. His eyes, they were always darting, like he was searching for an escape route that just wasn't there. Silas, he used to tell me about the newcomers, the ones who didn't quite fit in. And Jimmy, well, he was one of them. You could see the fear etched around his mouth even when he tried to smile. It was a Tuesday, Silas said. Shower day, which meant the whole block was a little more vibrant. The air thick with the smell of cheap soap and stale sweat, and the clanging of metal on metal from the distant workshops echoed down the corridors. Jimmy, he was in the John, trying to get a moment's peace on the porcelain throne, probably hoping to disappear for a bit. The stale institutional green of the walls seemed to press in on him, and the flickering fluorescent light overhead cast harsh shadows on his face. But peace, that's a luxury in there, especially in the head. Heard it started with a scuffle, a grunt, then a sickening thud. Turns out some of the younger, hungrier wolves had decided Jimmy's solitude was an invitation. Not for a friendly chat, mind you. They wanted his commissary, what little he had, and they didn't care how they got it. Silas, he just heard the muffled sounds, the kind that make your stomach clench, even from across the block. He imagined the spray of water from the shower heads just outside the bathroom, masking the ugliness. By the time a guard, his face a mask of bored indifference, finally strolled by, Jimmy was a crumpled mess, a splash of crimson blooming from his nose, and looking even more like that scared rabbit than usual. They patched him up, of course, stitched him back together enough to get by. Silas said he saw the needle marks on his arm later, neat little rows of black thread against his pale skin. But some things, they don't heal with a few sutures. After that, Jimmy was different. More withdrawn, if that was even possible. His eyes, once darting, now seemed to stare right through you, fixed on some unseen point beyond the prison walls. He started dabbling in that K2, that synthetic garbage that floats around in there like a ghost. Silas could smell the sickly sweet chemical odor whenever Jimmy was nearby. Just a little at first to numb the edges to make the nightmares less sharp, Silas reckoned. But that stuff, it's a fiend. It latches on, whispers sweet nothings about peace and forgetfulness, then squeezes the life out of you, draining the color from your skin and the light from your eyes. One evening, a few weeks later, Silas heard the commotion again. Not a fight this time, just a strange gurgling from Jimmy's cell, a sound that made the hairs on Silas's arms stand on end. They found him slumped over his bunk, his thin frame barely visible beneath the rough wool blanket. His eyes were wide open, glazed over, seeing nothing but the grim ceiling above. A tiny, crinkled baggie of white powder was clutched in his hand, a final, desperate embrace. Too much K2. His little rabbit heart just couldn't take it anymore. Poor Jimmy. He survived the attack, the physical wounds, but the other kind, the ones that burrow deep, they got him in the end. A sad story, but not an uncommon one in that place. Not uncommon at all.